Can you tell me a little bit about your experience when you first started at Salon Services Pro, and how did Proton fit into your onboarding process?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started at this position, my first day, we looked at all of the accounts that I was taking on from SSP. And there were 417 accounts on my first day. And I was so overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to see all of these people? Well, then just a few minutes later, we popped up Proton and kind of showed how it all works and everything. And it it cut out any of that anxiety because I had all of these clients' metrics already right in front of me. I could see exactly what they were purchasing, what they weren't purchasing, and maybe what somebody that was previously in the territory, what they were working on, and I could just pick right back up where they left off.
How has Proton impacted your sales growth over time?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So before having something like Proton, I always tracked my sales by where I stood in the company compared to my coworkers. I want to be in the top 40. I want to be in the top 20. That was my goal. Um, Now I am only in competition against myself because I can see what I'm doing every single day. It's almost like instant gratification. And so, for instance, back at the latter part of 2023, I was still fairly newer to Proton, still kind of trying to figure it out and utilize all of the benefits. Um, I was doing okay, but it was just okay. Fast forward to January, I really dove deep into Proton. I was using my pipeline to the best of its ability. I was really keeping my eye on everything, and my sales skyrocketed. It's like 17,000 from like December to January, and they're just like keep going up. So that's really cool. I'm hitting more goals and hitting more of my initiatives, and just I'm able to make more goals on top of that, other than whatever my boss tells me. I have my own personal goals now, thanks to Proton.
That's awesome to hear. You also mentioned that you were keeping an eye on everything in Proton. Could you share an example of that?
I have this other account, and I had one stylist in that account that was actually purchasing from me. And I could see on Proton that no one had seen them in a very long time. There was no call notes at all. And so I was just driving by one day. Oh, I'm going to go in and see them because I know they haven't gotten love in a while. And I walked in. I knew I've never met this girl before, but I knew exactly what she was buying. I kind of had an idea of the certain services that she was offering, things like that. So I walked in and I just started talking to her about her stuff. I know you use this color. How's it going for you? Shortly after, her coworkers started kind of listening into the conversation, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't get support like this with my other lines. Next thing you know, I'm switching the entire salon to my color line. And then my next visit, switch the entire salon over to my retail line. And without Proton, I would have never even known to go into that account. They weren't popping up on my radar. So it was a huge opportunity, probably one of my biggest ones to date. And honestly, Proton led me there.
Do any examples come to mind where Proton's AI recommendations influenced your approach with a client?
Yeah, so this has actually happened fairly recently. I had a client, and my Proton was showing me that they were inactive. And it was somebody that I was seeing very new into the territory. So I didn't really know why they were inactive, what was going on. And Proton would show me different products that they were viewing online, maybe different things that they would be interested in. And it was also showing me that they were not buying anything from me. So I was able to take those recommendations to this client, and we ended up switching their business completely over, where they're buying everything from me now. And it just really strengthened a relationship that was obviously dying.
Could you describe how you use Proton in your daily work routine and how it's impacted your productivity?
It's so hard because I literally use Proton probably every 30 minutes of my day. So I would probably say that it at least saves me 2 to 3 hours in your typical 8 hour workday. I can hit more accounts. I have very quality meetings with the people I am seeing, and I'm not having to spend the last couple hours of my day recapping my full day. I have it all right there ready to go. Same thing for the next day. It's all right there and ready. I base, my entire route off of Proton. And another thing that I maybe wouldn't have thought before, how easy it makes things, but the copy and paste features on Proton are awesome. I use that in my emails all day long. I can use it to pitch things to my clients via text or email. It just kind of makes the follow up process a lot easier and cuts out a lot of that just blank time.